Listen carefully, because what you're about to hear could completely change the way you look at the loose coins sitting in your drawer, your old collection box, or even the forgotten pieces tucked away in a wallet you haven't opened in years. Before we go any further, take 1 second right now and make sure you're subscribed to this channel, because the information you're about to discover is not something most people ever come across in their lifetime. And the truth is simple. People are unknowingly sitting on small pieces of metal that could be worth more than a luxury car, more than a house, and in rare cases, life-changing money. Today we're talking about the 5 Shillings African coin, a coin that at first glance may look ordinary, maybe even outdated, but in reality carries a deep history, powerful symbolism, and in certain rare conditions, an unbelievable hidden value that collectors around the world are willing to fight for. This is not just a coin. This is a story frozen in metal, a relic of a time when currency carried identity, pride, and national transformation. Now imagine this. You're holding a 5 shillings coin. It feels solid, heavy compared to modern coins. The edges are defined, the design is bold, and there's a certain presence about it. That alone should tell you something. Coins like this were not made cheaply. They were minted with purpose, with detail, and with materials that already carry intrinsic value. But here's where things get interesting. Not every 5 shillings African coin is equal. Some are common, yes, but others, depending on the year, mint mark, condition, and historical context, can be extremely rare. And when rarity meets demand in the world of collectors, prices don't just increase, they explode. Collectors, especially those in the 55 to 65 age group, understand something that younger audiences often overlook. They understand patience. They understand history. And most importantly, they understand value. Not just face value, but real, hidden value. The kind that grows quietly over decades. Let's break this down in a way that makes sense. The 5 shillings coin was part of a monetary system used in several African regions during colonial and post-colonial periods. These coins often featured detailed engravings, animals, national emblems, or portraits that reflected the era they were minted in. And those designs are not just artistic, they are identifiers. They tell collectors exactly what they're looking at. Now here's the key factor, rarity. Some versions of the 5 shillings coin were minted in limited numbers. Others had errors during production. And in the world of coin collecting, an error is not a mistake. It's a jackpot. A slight misprint, an off-center strike, or even a variation in metal composition can turn an ordinary coin into a collector's dream. Condition is another powerful factor. If a coin has been preserved well, sharp details, minimal scratches, original shine, it becomes exponentially more valuable. Coins that have been circulated heavily lose value, but those that have been kept safe, untouched, almost frozen in time, can command unbelievable prices. And then there's demand. You see, collectors are not just buying coins. They are buying history. They are buying completeness. Many collectors spend decades trying to complete a specific set, and if your coin happens to be the missing piece in that puzzle, the price they are willing to pay can go far beyond logic. Now think about this carefully. Somewhere in the world, there is a collector who has spent years searching for a specific 5 shillings African coin. He has the money, he has the desire, and he has the patience. But he does not have that coin. And if you are the one holding it, you control the value. This is where ordinary people become extraordinary winners. Because most people don't check their coins. They don't look closely. They don't research. They assume everything they have is worth exactly what it says on the surface. But you are not most people. You're here. You're listening. And now you know that a simple coin can carry a hidden story and a hidden price. Let's go deeper. Certain editions of the 5 shillings African coin are known to be associated with transitional periods, times when countries were shifting from colonial rule to independence. Coins minted during these transitions often had limited production runs, making them significantly rarer than standard issues. And rarity creates pressure. Pressure creates competition, and competition drives prices to levels that most people would never expect from something so small. There have been cases where collectors have paid thousands, even hundreds of thousands, for coins that the average person would overlook without a second thought. Why? Because they understand something powerful, the difference between what something looks like and what it truly is. Now imagine holding a coin that fits all the right conditions. The right year, the right design, the right mint, the right condition. That's not just a coin anymore. That's an asset. And here's where the story takes a turn that most people are not ready for. Because in extremely rare cases, when all these factors align perfectly, when the coin is not just rare, but historically significant, preserved in near perfect condition, and demanded by elite collectors, the value doesn't just reach thousands or hundreds of thousands. It reaches levels that sound almost impossible. There are whispers in the collector community, stories that circulate quietly among serious buyers and sellers, about a specific 5 shillings African coin that reached an estimated value of $30 million. Yes, 30 million. Now understand this clearly. Not every coin will reach that level. In fact, most won't. But the possibility exists. And that possibility is enough to make one thing very clear. You cannot afford to ignore what you have. Because the difference between a coin worth a few dollars and a coin worth millions often comes down to knowledge. And right now, you are gaining that knowledge. So here's what you need to do. Start checking your coins. Look closely at every detail. The year, the design, the edges, the condition. Compare them. Research them. Understand them. Because the moment you recognize something rare, you move from being just another person to someone holding a powerful opportunity. And remember this, valuable coins don't announce themselves. They don't shine differently. They don't come with labels. They sit quietly, waiting for someone who knows what to look for. That someone could be you. So don't ignore this. Don't assume. Don't overlook what's right in front of you. Because hidden inside that small, simple 5 shillings African coin could be a story worth telling, a treasure worth discovering, and in the rarest of cases, a value that could reach up to $30 million. And once you realize that, you'll never look at coins the same way again. And once that realization settles in, something changes in the way you see the world around you. You stop rushing past the small things. You start paying attention to details most people ignore. Because now you understand that value does not always shout. Sometimes it whispers. Think about the journey of that 5 shillings African coin. It didn't just appear in your hand. It traveled. It passed through markets, through pockets, through generations. It may have been exchanged during a historic moment, used in a time of economic change, or carried by someone who understood its importance long before today. That journey adds weight. Not physical weight, but historical weight. And collectors, especially experienced ones, are drawn to that. They don't just collect metal. They collect stories. They collect moments in time that can never be recreated. Now imagine a collector sitting in his study. Years of experience. Shelves filled with rare coins. Books, catalogs, magnifying glasses. He's not guessing. He knows exactly what he's looking for. And for years, one specific 5 shillings coin has been missing from his collection. He has seen pictures. He has read about it. He knows how rare it is. But he has never held it. Until someone like you appears. This is where everything shifts. Because suddenly, the balance of power changes. The collector is no longer in control. You are. You have what he wants. And when desire meets rarity, price becomes flexible. This is why some coins sell for amounts that seem unbelievable. It's not just about the coin itself. It's about who wants it, how badly they want it, and how long they've been searching. Now let's talk about something most people overlook, authentication. Because in the world of high-value coins, proof is everything. A coin that might be worth a few $100s can instantly jump to thousands or more when it is verified by experts. Professional grading services examine coins under precise conditions. They analyze the surface, the edges, the strike quality, and even microscopic details invisible to the naked eye. And when a coin receives a high grade, its value doesn't just increase, it multiplies. So if you ever come across a 5 shillings African coin that looks promising, don't rush to sell it. Don't make the mistake of letting it go for a fraction of its potential. Take your time. Get it checked. Have it evaluated properly. Because one decision can mean the difference between a small gain and a life-changing result. And here's another truth that experienced collectors understand: timing matters. The value of coins is not static. It changes. It moves with demand, with market trends, with global interest. A coin that might not attract attention today could become the center of attention tomorrow. Maybe it's a rare minting year that had a limited release. Maybe it's a design variation that was only used briefly before being changed. Maybe it's an error that slipped through quality control and made its way into circulation. Each of these factors adds a layer of rarity. And when multiple layers come together in one coin, that's when things become serious. That's when collectors start paying attention. That's when auctions become competitive. That's when prices begin to climb. And sometimes, that climb doesn't stop where you expect it to. Now picture an auction room. Quiet at first. Focused. Serious. A rare coin is placed on display. The kind of coin that doesn't appear often. The kind of coin that collectors have been waiting years to see. The bidding starts. Slow at first. Controlled. But then something happens. Two collectors lock onto the same target. Neither wants to back down. The numbers rise. The tension builds. And in moments like that, logic fades and desire takes over. This is where records are broken. This is where coins reach values that most people would never imagine. And somewhere in that world, stories have circulated about a 5 shillings African coin reaching an estimated value of $30 million under extreme rarity, perfect condition, and intense collector demand. Again, this is not common. This is not every day. But it is possible. And that possibility is what makes this entire journey worth paying attention to. Because you never know what you're holding until you truly look at it. Now think about your own situation. Maybe you have a small collection. Maybe you inherited coins from a family member. Maybe you picked up a few pieces over the years without thinking much about them. What if one of those coins is different? What if one of them has a detail you never noticed? What if one of them is the exact coin someone out there has been searching for? This is not about luck. This is about awareness. And awareness is what separates those who overlook value from those who discover it. So take this seriously, not with panic, but with purpose. Start learning. Start observing. Start comparing. Because the more you understand, the more you increase your chances of recognizing something rare. And once you recognize it, everything changes. You stop seeing coins as spare change. You start seeing them as opportunities. You start seeing them as assets. And in some cases, you start seeing them as something far more powerful, a hidden door to financial transformation. But only if you're willing to look closely. Only if you're willing to question what others ignore. Because the truth is simple. Rare coins are still out there. They haven't all been found. They haven't all been locked away in collections or museums. Some are still in circulation. Some are still sitting in drawers. Some are still waiting for someone to recognize their true value. And that someone could be you. So don't rush past this moment. Don't treat this as just another piece of information. Let it change the way you think. Because once you understand the hidden potential behind something as simple as a 5 shillings African coin, you begin to realize a much bigger truth. Value is everywhere, but only a few people ever see it. And those few people are the ones who win. So take your time. Stay sharp. Stay curious. Because the next coin you pick up might not be just a coin. It might be the moment everything changes.